Hi, welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. Got a terrific guest here, a young man that's dealing with youth and mentoring. You know I am about youth, mentoring, and business. And Darius Stanton,
That's
here. He's from Bowie, Maryland, isn't that correct?
Actually, I'm from Annapolis, Maryland,
Annapolis,
but I live
Maryland.
in Bowie now. That's
right.
correct.
And he has a program that's been all over the country. And he and his dad, you know, started out in Annapolis. Give us a little background about your group.
Well, the Stanton Group is a company that was founded about 10 years ago by my wife and I. And we started the Stanton Group because our ultimate goal was to always work for ourselves. At the time, she was a manager with Verizon. I was running Boys and Girls Clubs throughout the region in Montgomery County, Prince George's, the District of Columbia, and my last organization with Boys and Girls Clubs was Boys and Girls Clubs of Metropolitan Baltimore. And we really started it because we wanted to be in a position, to help create opportunities for people.
Right.
We understand that when you
Especially
create opportunities,
young people,
especially young people.
Yeah.
My first professional roles were working with young people. I was hired at 19 years old as the youth coordinator for the then account executive in Anne Arundel County.
In Anne Arundel County. Fine.
And working there for a few years, got an opportunity to work in a lot of schools and in a lot of communities. And the mayor at that time, Hopkins in Annapolis, hired me to be the drug czar. And so I managed all of the drug programs, the prevention programs, supported the treatment programs in Annapolis. And at that time, I started speaking throughout the country, working with the Department of Health and Human Services, doing HIV and AIDS training and community development throughout the country. So it was a really good opportunity for me to learn what was transpiring, not only in small and rural communities, but also in large metropolitan cities. And so at that time, I left the city and started to work with Boys and Girls Clubs of America. And the reason why I was so excited about that, yes, it was a national organization, is because Boys and Girls Clubs does things that most organizations, they go places where most organizations won't and stay.
Right.
And offer resources to children that in most cases not often, they don't often see. Now in Prince George's County, there are two sets of Boys and Girls Clubs. There's a Boys and Girls Clubs that, has basketball and baseball and football and soccer. Those sports organizations do a great job with children. And then there's the Boys and Girls Clubs affiliate of America, which is in Suitland Middle School and a few other schools around, and two others, I believe, here in Prince George's County. But the key really is the fact that they really build young people from where they are. So take straight A students or straight E children from public housing or children living in $500,000 houses. It doesn't matter. There's no proof of good character. They just want to help children to reach their potential and get to the next level, which is what we do in our business. And so while working with organizations throughout the region, in a lot of instances, I managed at one time 5 boards. The former Attorney General, Eric Holder, was on one of our boards, B.F. Saul, the Marriotts, you name it, just a lot of folks who are, pretty
involved
strong in the business world.
Right.
And so I got an opportunity to really develop and build those relationships. And that's what really birthed our company, the Stanton Group. And what we do, it's really two sides of the house. We work in traditional business development and management services. So we do organizational development, strategic human resources, strategic marketing. And we also work on the other side of the house in human development. And so we work and create opportunities for folks, in particular and around education. We developed a concept called education is the new sport.
Well, how does that work? Tell us a little. Education to new sports. I know youngsters like that title.
They do. Actually, in our polling and all the research that we did, I said polling, we're talking political season. In our polling, the research we did with young people, the focus groups, 98% of the young people love the term education is the new sport.
Right.
First of all, most people like sports in America. We're ranked #1 and #2 in Summer Winter Olympics, but we're 21st and 23rd in math and science. And so my wife...
21st and 23rd in math and science.
That's correct.
Fantastic.
Well, it would be fantastic if we were not the leading nation in the world.
Right.
So really, that's not a good scorecard. If
Really,
you're number
right.
one and number
well,
two in
you know, I'm
sports.
sensitive to that because I'm a retired research chemist from the Department of Agriculture.
Okay, well, there you
So
go.
I know how important that is.
There you
right.
go. And see, that's a prime example. So really, Ed Brown should be a household word. But
Why not? Say that again.
That's right. Ed Brown should be a household word.
Right.
A scientist, a black scientist with the federal government.
Right.
Retired.
Right. Retired.
There you go. Now,
Right.
now people know James Brown or
right.
Jim Brown,
Right.
Because they were entertainers and football players.
Right.
They're household words. So we want to make Ed Brown a household word because we want children to aspire to
Right.
become scientists,
Right.
to become business owners,
Right.
to become politicians, should we
Right.
say, should
To
become
be active
lawyers.
in the community.
To be active in the community.
And especially in all of those and the business world. Because see, that's the control here that we have here in this country is business. And once you get involved in the business world, then you have freedom. You know, just
Right.
like the great poet said, you're not free unless you economically free.
That's right.
And that's one thing I always repeat when people, I say, you're not free, no matter what laws are passed, until you're economic. When you become involved in the economics of anything, you can dictate your progress.
Exactly. Well, that's one of the reasons why we really moved. We created another concept. It's a corporate model that we developed to help enhance the culture of organizations. It's called the win-win-win. And normally
I've heard that win.
So
before.
you know you used to hearing win-win, but the third win really focuses on the company winning. The first win is with the associates, because when you have a winning associate team, when folks feel like, you know, whether they're at the front desk, whether they're answering the phone, project managers, whatever it is that they're doing, where they're having interface with the company and outside the external community, then there's a need for them to feel like winners. Because when you feel like a winner, you feel like a champ.
Right.
You perform differently. Your attitude is different.
Right.
And it also gives you a sense of ownership. Now, you may not own the company, but you want to have an entrepreneurial mindset.
Right.
Because if you think like you own the company,
Right.
you're going to pay attention to the lights that you leave on. You won't spend as much time on social media or Facebook while you're at work, because you recognize that if I do a better job and produce more on the job, then I have a better chance of increasing my pay and the organization's profits.
Right.
If the organization profits more,
That's more money in my pocket.
that's right. But the key to that, though, is making people feel like, it's not really, people think that it's about money, but people don't often leave jobs. They do leave jobs because of money, but the number one reason about why people leave jobs, research says, is how they're treated. So you want people to understand that not only do we want you to think entrepreneurially, but we also want you to know this is a family-first environment. And what that means is if you have a challenge at work, at home, and you've got to go home, you want to know that you can go home without worrying about, is my job going to be safe?
Right.
Am I going to get written up?
Right.
You want somebody to say to you, it's okay, take your time, we'll handle it until you get back, and mean it. Once that happens, you can get somebody to come to work on Saturdays, overtime, and all of that. When they know they need to leave for their family, they can do so without any type of retribution. So that's the first win. The second win is with the client. And if you treat that client, you provide solutions instead of problems. If you create ways that they can save money instead of spend money or lose money, then the client wants to say, hey, send me 2 more people just like Mr. Brown. We wouldn't need more Mr. Browns in our office. And so that increases the client's mentality or favor of you. And then when the client likes you, the client wants more of your work,
And they
more of your
spreads the
workers,
word.
and they spread the word, and therefore the company gets more benefits,
Right.
more opportunities,
That's an investment.
more contracts, and then that system just recycles, and that dollar comes on back around and comes back to the associate.
Right.
They have more benefits.
That's what I think, what people, investment in the young people, that's what I asked you off camera, about mentoring.
Sure.
Because the young people and education is an investment
That's right.
for the future.
Well-
I'm not going to be here for 200 years, neither will you, very few. So what you have to do, you have to invest in the young people. And the investment, like you were saying, is economics. You have to, once you get economic power, you can demand other powers. And because that's our society.
That's right. We live in a capitalistic society.
Capitalistic society.
That's right.
If you're going to be part of it or you're going to be used by it, it's a difference. You know, because when I said I was coming up, people say, okay, get an education, you know, fine, you know, and then, but my era is going out, and that era 9 to 5. In 9 to 5, that meant you were working for somebody else. See, but now the era now is to develop your own economic background for independence. When you are sleeping, you're making money.
That's right.
You don't, it's no, that 9 to 5 is antique. 9 to 5 is only time you get paid is when you're working.
That's right.
Physically, you're there. And this is what we have to pass on to the young people, to get involved into the business world. Because in this society, that's what it's all about.
So I want to tell you about 2 organizations that we work with. One is an organization that it's another component that we've added to our business, which is financial services. You spoke about transferring wealth and really having young people think from their vantage point. So our children actually are part of the business as well. They've now started their own life insurance savings accounts. Each one of them have their own. Her all in college. Our oldest is at Duke working on his master's in environmental management. The youngest, the daughter, our only daughter, is finishing her year at Claflin University, a private black school in South Carolina. And then our youngest is at the Smith School of Business at College Park.
No kidding.
And as a sophomore. So they're all, you know, involved in the business. They're all now moving forward in terms of starting their own financial services company.
Right.
And if somebody told me when I was 19, my grandmother told me to save money, but she didn't tell me how to invest money.
Yeah, they tell you, and they were famous for that.
Oh, yeah.
I think in terms of the banks now.
They said save money.
They said save money. They used to have the jar that they kept money. Now, grandfather didn't believe in banks, you know.
Well, my grandmother told me to put money in the bank, but see, the bank only gives you less than 1% return on your investment.
Hey.
With a life insurance savings account, you get at least 3%.
Right.
It doesn't vary when the market goes
right
up
now. When you put your money in your checking account, they give you what? Huh?
Did you hear that number? I didn't say a number.
Okay.
Whatever you put in there.
But they take your money.
And make money.
And make money. They take your money. When somebody come in, they charge them 18%.
That's right.
That means they made 15% money for doing nothing.
Well, and when they take your check, they hold your check for a day.
Yeah.
But they're making money off your check.
Right.
While your check is sitting in the bank waiting, you don't even have your money
and
yet.
People don't understand. Sure, and your bill collectors is the same way. They like for you to have your account, so all they do is get money out of it.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's just cash flow.
Yeah.
That's right.
See,
and they're reinvesting as soon as it comes in the door. It's going right out to an investment pile.
Investment pile. It's 15%. They're making 15, 16%. For doing nothing.
That's right. Nothing.
Nothing.
So we're encouraging people to, first and foremost, insure your family. You know, make sure that everybody in the household has a policy, so that it's not just about the death benefit and when people pass in that unfortunate situation, but you do want to leave people with some bonus money versus bills.
Right.
So that's one thing. But the other key component to it is you're able to invest and borrow money from yourself without paying taxes,
right?
Without incurring any interest, because it's your money, and you pay yourself back.
Right.
If there's a critical benefit, a critical injury or illness in the family, there's a cash flow, a cash amount you can pull out. That's right.
Because you go to the bank, they're going to charge that 18%, and then 20%.
That's right. And then the last benefit is a benefit that actually is a retirement benefit. So for the case of my daughter, she's doing a policy when she retires at this just $50 a month, she'll have $114,000 annually tax-free.
Right.
for the entire life up until she's 99, from 63, 64 to 99 years
To
old.
99.
That's by doing just $600 a year. You know, so teaching our young people how to invest, instead of buying Nike Jordans, buy Nike stock.
Yeah,
If you want to buy Nike stock at all.
Yeah.
But my point is, don't spend all your money on tennis shoes and cars and things that cannot pay you back.
Right.
And so
That
helping people
deteriorate.
understand that. That's
all
right.
of them deteriorate.
All of them deteriorate. Except for that dollar when you sit
Right.
in an account that's guaranteed 3 to 8%.
Right.
So that's one of the organizations. Then the other one is an organization that's very dear to my heart. I serve as chief operating officer in the support of this organization. It's called Men Aiming Higher. And Men Aiming Higher was started by a gentleman who's now a Delegate Darrell Barnes. And about 7 years ago, actually, 7 years ago. And since then, the community we do a lot of work in the community. We partner with Shoppers to do an annual job fair for young people in the summer. We hire about 100 people every summer. That's correct. Shoppers does. That works throughout the county. And then we also partner with them. We do a Thanksgiving food giveaway. So last year we gave food to about 1,200 families. We've been doing that for the last 5 years. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
But I think the thing we're most proud of, I mean, job and feeding people, you know, that helps jobs help people to feed themselves. Still working for somebody. But the other component, you know, on Thanksgiving, that's only one day, but that is a meal. But the other thing that we're really proud of, and most proud, is what we now call our leadership academies. And we're actually running 4 academies at the moment.
We have 4 academies.
2 in Annapolis, one which is there's a gentleman in Annapolis who was no longer there, but he founded the Bates High School. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but it was the only black high school during segregation for all of Anne Arundel County. His name was Wiley H. Bates. Back in the 30s, Mr. Bates owned 100 properties as an African American in the city of Annapolis.
In the 30s, 1930s.
100 properties. So he took $500 and brought this school. So we named the Summer Leadership Academy, which is a basketball league that also provides arts for our young people, so that young people would know who this great man was. But after they come off the court playing basketball, then they get a meal, and then they spend 45 minutes in a leadership session. And they learn critical thinking skills, they learn ethics, they learn how to sit at the table and how to hold your fork and manners. But they also learn about business.
That's important.
Now we had this year who's another part of our program, retired Vice Admiral Curtis. He's an African American from Chicago, who actually went to the Naval Academy and led the largest naval fleet in the country. He was the commander of the largest naval base, which is in Norfolk in the country, and the largest aircraft carrier in the country, in the Navy fleet. He's an African American named Mr. Vice Admiral D.C. Curtis. He spoke to our young people. We had a king from Africa who was here. One of the countries in Africa actually came to speak while he was in the country. So our young people get a chance to talk to
exposure.
Oh, my goodness.
See, that's very important.
We've taken them on college tours. We have a young man right now who went on a college tour with us. Unfortunately, they would not have been able to make this trip. We took 5 states, Florida State, Florida A&M, then up to Morehouse and the College Center, then over to Alabama at Tuskegee, then up to...
Hey, that's number one. Tuskegee, always use that.
Up into A&T, then Hampton and Norfolk State. But the jewel of it is, while that young man, who had probably a 2.3 grade point average, was not really a good student, but an excellent leader, is now at Morehouse College as a result of us sending him on that college tour. And he got a chance to meet the people, talk to them. He also was part of President Obama's My Brother's Keepers initiative. And so he was able to call the White House, and they called Morehouse, and they worked out some type of financial arrangement. And now the young man is actually finishing up his freshman year at Morehouse College. So, we're excited, about that. Another program that I think is really key, we're at Wise High School with young people every other Monday doing a leadership academy there. But then I think the crown jewel here in Prince George's County is the partnership that we have with Mar2 Golf Course.
Mar2 Golf Course, that's located so people
In
know.
Upper
I know
Marlboro
where
off
it
of
is.
301. Mar2 Golf Course happens to be the one of 4 only black-owned golf courses in the country. There are 4 partners. The managing partner and golfer is a gentleman by the name of Jimmy Garvin, who's a former pro golfer. They also have a relationship with the University of Maryland Eastern Shore Golf Certification Program. This program at University of Maryland Eastern Shore certifies golf pros to be able to work on golf courses and manage golf courses throughout the world. So you have people from China, from all over the world coming to this program to become certified to learn how to run golf courses. And so Mar2 is working with our young people to teach them how to run a business, how to run a golf course.
How do you, young man, get involved in that? What's the procedure?
They can go to our website, which is menaiminghigher.org.
menaiminghigher.org.
That's right, menaiminghigher.org.
Okay.
So that's one way that they can reach the program, or they can call Mar2 Golf Course. But by doing that, you know, it really puts young people in a position, first of all, to see other African Americans or just men who are in business, as you said, but who are approachable, who have challenges, who had struggles, but they're now in a position where they're able to employ other people.
And the main thing is mentoring, just like your organization, mentoring young people. They don't know the procedure, how important mentoring is.
Well, I think, you know, the value to be in a room with people who have worked hard enough and smart enough to now own a golf course, which is one of the most prestigious sports in the world.
Right.
Trillions of dollars are traded and made on golf courses. And so for our young people to have it as a learning opportunity at the ages of 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, it really gives them a leg up, but it also gives them confidence because now they're able to interact and communicate with people who
in a different environment.
In a total different environment, with a total different sport. We're not talking about basketball or baseball or non-traditional sports. We're talking about a sport that you have to have money to play. You have to have a certain amount of skill, but it's something that people do. You can play for life. You know, there's seniors playing golf. And it's important for them to also understand the environmental aspect of it. You know, the impact.
You meet the top money makers there on the golf course.
That's right. You know, and so we really want to encourage folks to look into our program because it really supports young people from an academic perspective. From a financial, we teach financial literacy, so we teach them how to search on the stock market.
See, financial literacy. I've had a couple of professors here, you know, on the show, and financial. This is the thing that not just the youngsters, everyone should get involved in because that's where the problem is. You know, we great consumers.
Oh, number one.
You know, we buy that, like you were saying about the shoes.
You can't outbuy us.
Right. But investments and things of that nature and money, controlling money is the key because the money is out there.
Oh, it's there. Oh, no question. I mean, you know, an African American alone amass about $1.1 trillion. 1.1. You know, and by 2017, that number will be at like 1.3, and that money does not circle back into our community.
Into the community.
That's right. So we're working with organizations and businesses to be able to help them to improve their. See, the great thing about helping a business to improve its effectiveness is when they make more money. They're able to hire more people. And when you're able to hire more people, and the folks that we work with, you know, are top talents, you know, masters in engineering from GW, masters in business from Johns Hopkins Casey School, Cornell. You know, those are the folks that are working on our team at the Stanton Group. So we have folks who are top flight academically, are impeccable people, and most importantly, they know how to treat people because your relationships are important, and how you treat people is the most critical thing. And so that's what we're working on, is really creating entrepreneurs in helping existing businesses grow, and then if those existing businesses can help young people become Ed Browns, then they'll be in a much better position.
Yeah, well, see, that's so very important. You know, that was the first question I asked you about that mentoring, getting young people involved in the business world.
That's right.
Because, see, this is the key to their development and the key for the future. And I like to congratulate your group for knowing this and getting to the youngsters while they're young. Is that, hey, when you get that dollar, you don't have to spend all of it. You can invest some of it. See, that's like you say, you don't let your peers determine how do you live.
That's right.
See, a lot of people live by the peers. If John Jones have this, they go out and get it, and they can't afford it. A good example was in the housing market that they had here. And people lost their home because of the fact that the banks were responsible for this. They allowed the people to get into a house that they couldn't afford. And what happened is that, okay, it was easy to get in, you know what I mean? But what happened is the fact is that they found out after the bank said, oh, you can afford this $400,000 home, and then to get in, say your note's only be $1,000. Then after 6 months, the note went up, you know. And
sure,
then,
not the financial literacy, not understanding balloon mortgages,
balloon
mortgages, rates and those types of things.
Yeah,
and you know the real unfortunate thing about the foreclosure crisis that took place here in Prince George's County and other places throughout the country, but in particular here, is the fact that there are a number of business owners. There are a number of department heads that live within these communities.
Certainly.
Unfortunately, because we don't communicate with each other on a business level. As a matter of fact, you know, we talk about manners.
Right.
Just speaking to people
and
extending yourself, you know, now that you've got your house and your home and your yard and your fence, you kind of stay within those walls.
Right.
But unfortunately, when you need help, see, so if I came to you and said, you know, I lost my job or my business is going down, but I need some help so I don't lose my house, I'll go sweep the floor, I'll go be security, I'll pick up trash, I'll do whatever I have to do to take care of my home and my family. Unfortunately, because people didn't have those relationships, they couldn't go to the neighbor and say, hey, I need some help. Can you help me find a job? Can you help me get some contracts? Those types of things. So that really created, unfortunately, a stalemate, and we became a system that you know really lost a lot of opportunity and a lot of property value. So I'd rather help somebody in the neighborhood and my property value go up. Okay,
tell us a little bit about the future. What do you have planned for the future for that stunt?
Well, I'm writing right now. Actually, writing a book, and two books actually. One is on fatherhood.
All right. Fatherhood. Hey, that's a good one.
Yeah, well, you know, unfortunately, we have so many absent fathers.
In 2 minutes here.
Okay.
Now, give us that number that they can be contacted, that you can be contacted.
Sure, 410-703-1898.
Okay.
That's 410-703-1898.
Right?
The Stanton Group.
The Stanton Group. Don't forget now, this is Black History. This is going to be Black History Month. And hey, the most important thing that you have to do, you have to vote. A lot of you sit out there, but the local people are the ones that you got to get next to. Presidential election, sure, but the ones that make down Annapolis and the different towns and everything, they're the ones that determine what comes out of your pocket, how much you pay for anything that you're buying. So what you want to do, make sure you get out and vote. Vote, 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 vote. Make sure you vote. In Prince George County, there's been some changes, so you have to do a little homework as far as areas that you can vote early. They have it all. All you do is give them a call. Okay, this has been Ed Brown. And when I said Stanton Group, oh, they're fantastic. And this is what we need for the young people. This organization is doing their job with the young people. See you next time.